Hey guys, Britt here. Welcome to End Times Bible Prophecy. Make sure to hit the subscribe, like, and share buttons. Well, deception is their goal. It's not only coming, but it's been here. We need to be prepared for it. What am I talking about? Well, let's take a look at this. This is a couple of weeks old at this point, but I'm sure a lot of people missed this, didn't see this. It didn't get widespread coverage in the mainstream media as far as I know. But this is from Kobo's Twitter account. He says, Ursula von der Leyen, she would be the president of the European Commission, which is the equivalent, it's the executive branch of the European Union. So that's who we're talking about. If there's a president of the European Union, it's Ursula von der Leyen. So it says, von der Leyen vows to vaccinate EU population against wrongthink. This is real. It says, people in society who hold views that contradict the globalist narrative must have their minds inoculated against wrongthink, according to European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Speaking at the Copenhagen Democracy Summit earlier this month, and these people, they like to cloak themselves in the guise of democracy, right? Democracy. We stand for democracy. Never mind that democracy really means mob rule. It means, well, we have 2 wolves and a lamb, and they vote on what's for dinner. That's democracy. Democracy is not desirable. What's desirable is a representative republic with individual rights enshrined into its constitution that respects minority rights. That's what we would desire, not democracy, but that's as they try to thwart any sort of democratic principle or the ability of people to express their will of who their representatives should be, the very antithesis of everything they claim they stand for, they say, we're for democracy, right? So it says, speaking at the Copenhagen Democracy Summit earlier this month, von der Leyen explained that research has shown that pre-bunking is more successful than debunking. And you may go, what in the world is pre-bunking? Well, it's a word they made up as part of their campaign against disinformation, right? And so we're going to listen to a little bit of what she says here, and I'll help translate some of this for you because, you know, as a globalist leader, she's going to, again, be saying one thing, but meaning something completely different. You know, defending our democracy means making sure nobody dares to vote for anybody that's not us, right? That's defending democracy in her world. So we'll see what else she has to say, and this will give you insight into, well, what their plans are for you, for all of us, for the world, and what's coming, what they've already been doing. So let me mute my microphone and I will press play.
And finally, it takes resilience. As technology evolves, we need to build up societal immunity around information manipulation. Because research has shown that pre-bunking is much more successful than debunking.
All right, so let me stop that for a second. Pre-bunking is more successful than debunking. And what she's going to go on to say is basically, you see, when people express ideas or opinions that are different from the ones we want them to have, it's a whole lot harder for us to go back afterward in damage control mode and clean that up and get rid of those ideas, extract them from people's heads and insert in the ideas that we want them to have. It would be much better if we, instead of debunking those ideas, we could pre-bunk them, meaning we just never let those ideas get into people's heads to begin with. Isn't that a great idea? I'm dead serious. That's what she goes on to say. Let's listen to more of the.
Is basically the opposite of debunking. In short, prevention is preferable to cure. Perhaps if you think of information manipulation as a virus, instead of treating an infection once it has taken hold, that is debunking. It is much better to vaccinate so that the body is inoculated.
So let's stop again and comment on what she's saying here. So she likens, remember, she's talking about, when she talks about information and disinformation, she's talking about ideas, truth versus what's not true. And she likens an idea that spreads to a virus. Well, what do you think of a virus generally as a good thing? Well, no, a virus is evil. So this evil information is spreading. And we need to inoculate people against this evil information, right? And wouldn't it be better if we could just stop the information? In other words, let's go to the source, the people who would dare to say the things that we don't want them to say. And if we shut them up from the beginning, well, then they can't spread those dangerous ideas. And then we don't have to debunk translation, propagandize as much. It'll already sort of be, it'll take less effort to get people to believe the disinformation that we're going to call truth. Our disinformation will get through much easier. So that's what she's really saying here. Let's finish up and see what.
Debunking is the same approach. Because disinformation relies on people passing it on to others. It is essential that people know what malign information's influence is and what the techniques are that are behind it. And as the knowledge goes up, our chances of being influenced goes down. And that builds up the society resilience that we will need.
Okay, so did you catch that? She wants societal resilience to being influenced, right? So I don't know about you, but I actually like to be influenced. I like to hear other ideas. I like to hear competing ideas. Even when it comes to things that I'm absolutely certain of, I'm not afraid of people who have ideas counter to what I believe or beliefs counter to my own. The fact that they share those with me isn't an assault upon me. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm not easily swayed by their disinformation. Instead, it strengthens my resolve if my idea is correct, right? But if my idea is not correct and they're presenting me with truth, well, then it will influence me to change my mind. And that's exactly what scares Ursula von der Leyen. She doesn't want the truth to come along and influence people. So we need to give people the knowledge, the ability to recognize these evil truth campaigns when they arise so that they can stand against that. Well, how are they going to do things like that? Well, they've already been doing this and they plan to do more of it. Here's an example, guys. How many of you have heard of the instituteforgovernment.org in the UK and their nudge unit? We can go read about the nudge unit here. It says the Behavioral Insights Team, popularly known as the Nudge Unit, is playing a big role in helping the government formulate its response to, well, the late unpleasantness of this time period right here. I don't know if I'll be allowed to talk about such things, right? Or am I going to be inoculated so that you aren't exposed to the information I'm providing you? So I have to be careful with the words I use. But here it says, what is the nudge unit? The nudge unit was established in the Cabinet Office in 2010 by David Cameron's government to apply behavioral science to public policy. Now owned partly by the Cabinet Office, by Nesta, and by employees. So this is supposedly a government operation, but it's owned by various people. It has operations all over the world, right? So this UK entity thing, well, it's really a globalist organization nudging people all over the world. Well, why nudge? What is nudge? Well, it's called Nudge after the book by Richard Thaler, who went on to win the Nobel Prize in Economics, and Cass Sunstein, which set out how people are not the rational economic actors beloved of conventional economic theory, but can be influenced by, quote, choice architecture into making better choices in their own interests, right? So you might say, well, who's to determine what the better choices in their own interest are? Who's better equipped to determine what choice is in your best interest? You? I think so. But no, they think, well, it's them. Ursula von der Leyen thinks it's her and her buddies that include people like Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein and all these other globalists and communists and everybody else that wants to control what you think and plant narratives into your head. And guys, that's exactly what they're doing. They use all of this information. They use all of the information that's gathered on us. There's vast reams of data on every single one of us that comes from our phones, our devices, cameras, economic transactions we've taken part in, and they want to gather more of this. That's what central bank digital currency is all about. That's what digital IDs are all about. They want to gather more and more and more information, because when they do that, well, they can set up your choice architecture and just nudge you into doing what they want you to do, and you'll think it's your own choice, right? You'll think, they didn't make me do that. I did it all by myself. I did it all on my own. Totally unaware that the information that guided you in that decision was set up from the very beginning, and they were nudging you. So guys, it's very important to be prepared to tell other people about this so that they can be aware of this, because if you want to be able to survive in this world between now and when Jesus comes back, or between now and whenever it is that you depart this world, and not be deceived, you need to understand how not to be deceived. Luckily, well, the first place you should go is the Bible. You should be reading the Bible every day. The Word of God should be your rock solid foundation for truth, where you go to determine what the truth is. And when we go to the Bible, we read Proverbs 12:19. It says, truthful words stand the test of time, but lies are soon exposed. And guys, this tells us that the narrative that Ursula von der Leyen and all these other globalists, they want to push on us, the reason they're talking about disinformation is because they are the purveyors of disinformation. If they were the purveyors of truth, they wouldn't need to inoculate anyone against ideas or disinformation or whatever they want to call it. They wouldn't have to propagandize. They wouldn't have to have nudge units to do all of these things. Because, as the Bible says, truthful words stand the test of time, but lies are soon exposed. That's why free speech should be valued. You take in all of these different ideas, you listen to what other people have to say, and bad ideas, falsehoods, are exposed through that process. And whatever withstands that scrutiny over time, such as, say, the Bible, withstands centuries and centuries of scrutiny, withstands that tells you that is the truth. So here we have verification from the Bible of what the truth is and why they want to stop it. They know that if the truth is allowed to get out, it spreads like a virus, right? It spreads like an evil virus, that truth. And we can't get our way. We can't make people think what we want them to think. Guys, Jesus warned against this. We read in Matthew chapter 24, verse 4, in direct reference to the time just prior to his coming, when the disciples said, tell us about what are the signs of your coming, the establishment of your kingdom. Jesus went on to tell them a whole bunch of things, but he started with this right here. He said, don't let anyone mislead you. What else does the Bible tell us? Well, the Bible tells us this right here in John chapter 17, verse 17. Again, this is Jesus speaking. He says, make them holy by your truth. Teach them your word, which is truth. So here we have Jesus saying, the Bible, God's word is truth. I'd ask you, how do you think the EU views the Bible? How do you think Ursula von der Leyen views the Bible? Do you think that she would hold it up as, this is truth? Or do you think she sees the words of the Bible as disinformation, as a virus that needs to be stamped out? We need to inoculate people against it. How do you think she feels about this? John chapter 14, verse 6, Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father except through me. Jesus is truth. The words of Jesus are truth. Again, how do you think Ursula von der Leyen views the words of Jesus, the words of the Bible? It's a rhetorical question. We know what she thinks. Guys, they've made it clear what they want, what their goal is. They want more power. They want to roll out central bank digital currencies so they can have insight into every transaction that we make, so that they can have control over our behavior, over the incentive structure, over the choices that are before us. They want digital IDs. They want all of these tools at their disposal to set up their own little nudge units encompassing every single decision you make, every piece of information you encounter through the day, so that they can nudge you to do exactly what they want. This is their plan. This is their goal. It's global totalitarianism is their goal. The Bible, unfortunately, tells us this goal will be achieved by the Antichrist and this global empire, but it will not last long. Jesus will come back. That is the good news. Jesus is coming back to destroy this evil empire and establish his kingdom here on earth. So guys, make sure that you are grounded in the Bible, that you can stand against these lies that are coming. Teach other people around you about that, and always be able to share the hope you have, the hope you have for these days ahead, and why you have hope in Jesus Christ, why he is the way, the truth, and the life. People need to hear that. In the days ahead, it's going to be harder and harder to get the truth out, harder and harder to get the gospel out, the good news out, because they are going to be doing everything they can to stamp it out. They see the truth as a virus, guys. It's an evil virus, and we need to inoculate the world against it. That's what's coming. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Guys, this is just, it's pure evil. Plain and simple, it's pure evil. I can't wrap my mind around why these people think this is okay. But they do. I guess they're blinded spiritually, and that's why they're pushing this. It's really demonic, evil forces of darkness that are behind all of this. But guys, we need to stand up against it. I think for the worst of all of this deception, we will be gone if you're a born-again believer in Jesus Christ. But guys, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be standing up against this right now, whatever time we have left, and telling as many people as we can about the good news of Jesus Christ. So make sure that you're doing that. Again, leave your comments below. Make sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons. God willing, I will see you on Monday. Bye. If you want to learn more about the end times and Bible prophecy, make sure to visit my Substack at brittgillette.substack.com. There you'll find my latest videos and articles, as well as notes, where I share the latest news headlines, the articles I'm reading, and the videos I'm watching. Subscribe for free, and each new post on Substack will be sent directly to your email. Just scroll to the bottom of the homepage and hit the subscribe button. As an added bonus, your first welcome email will include a link to a copy of my free ebook, 7 Signs of the End Times. Also, make sure to check out all of my books. Just look up Britt Gillette on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple iBooks, Google Books, Kobo, or anywhere books are sold. Thanks for watching today, and until next time, keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith.